vinyl. Today we are going to talk about how to layer HTV, heat transfer vinyl. So if you have more than one color that you want to use in a design, I'm going to show you how to set that up in Silhouette Studio and then how to apply it, because you have to apply it in layers. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. You have your design, and I'm going to make this flag for a 4th of July onesie, okay? So I already had both the star, just one star, I multiplied it, duplicated it, and I already had the tie design in my library, and I brought them together. Now, each star I assigned a color using the fill color tool, okay? So these were all individual, and I just filled, this one with red and these with white. The white you're actually not going to cut on HTV because the onesie is white, so you'll just be able to see through the blue and see the actual onesie. So then I grouped all the red together and all the white together, okay? Now, the red, what we want to do, the white is actually going to be cut through the blue. So I don't need to do anything with that, because if I just keep the stars there, obviously there's a cut line there, and I'll just weed them out and you'll be able to see the white, like I said, through the blue tie. The red, on the other hand, you could layer the red stars just on top of the blue tie, but you get a little bit of bulk in those areas where it's more than one layer of HTV. So what you're going to do is group all your reds together and then select them and select the blue part of the tie. The white is not selected. Now you're going to go up to your modify tool at the top toolbar, and you're going to click subtract all. It doesn't look like anything happened, but if I move my red stars, you can see that it's now that area where the red was is now subtracted from the blue. Okay, so you could cut like this, but we are going to go one step further, and we are actually going to put an offset. Now what the offset does is it gives you a little bit of wiggle room so that when you go back and try to line these up on the shirt, you don't have a gap between where the blue and the red come together. So it's a small offset. So what you're going to do is select the red, and I'm actually going to move this over here. You can't see that, can you? Okay. And then I'm going to go to the offset tool along the top toolbar. Can you still see that? Okay. Then I'm going to click offset. This offset is too large, and we also want corners in this case. I like to make my offset about 0.025 to 0.015. It kind of just depends on the size and shape, okay? So I have a light there that you can't see. So now I have an offset and the original. You're actually going to cut the offset. So you can delete these. You can delete the original stars. So group these back together, and it's not terribly obvious when you line them back up over the blue, but when you cut it and then apply it, it will be much easier to see. Now I always fill these back with red so that I remember which color HTV I'm cutting on. Okay, so group everything together. Again, remember the white you don't need to cut. So I just group that all together, the white and blue and the red. Now you're going to mirror the entire design. So I select it, right click, flip horizontal. Everything flips, okay? And then you can place these on your mat and cut. If you use your grid lines, if you have your grid lines on, which somebody asked yesterday how I did that, you go to the design page settings, and down the bottom there's a slider bar that says reveal, and that turns your mat either white, which is how I normally like to design, or the grid lines. And the grid lines are very helpful because these lines line up or match the same lines on your cutting mat, and if you can see, there's a super tiny numbers. In the very corner, there's a little number. Again, it matches up with the number on your mat. Okay, so you're going to cut everything, and you are going to weed it. Now, I've already done this, so let me show you. Okay, so you have your red, and then you have your blue. Now, the first thing you want to do is apply the blue, the bottom layer. Okay, so I've already done that here. 15 seconds on about 305, okay? And I peeled off the carrier sheet already. Now I need to put the red on. So I have to turn this a little bit so that I can face it. But because you have that offset, it's going to be much easier to line these up and avoid seeing any white gap, okay? So you can see that now I have the red on there. And now I'm going to walk you over to my heat press, and we're going to apply heat and pressure to the second layer. Now, if you have 2 layers, the first layer, as I said, goes for 15 seconds or 20 seconds, should be about half the time, and the second layer should go the full amount of time. Now let me peel, here we are, this off, and you now have your little onesie, okay? So it looks like 3 colors, but really it's just the red and the blue. All right, and that's how you do it. Thank you all for tuning in. Head on over to the blog, silhouetteschoolblog.com. There's like 850 or some tutorials on there about everything from heat transfer to, you guys know. All right, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. Have an awesome weekend. See ya.